So you want to learn how to play artillery. Arty is the most disgusting people in the face of the earth. If I can't fucking say that. Alright. Try this again. So you want to learn how to play artillery. Well, there are a few things that you have to ask yourself. Do you have thick skin? Because everyone's going to hate you inside the game. And do you want to have fun ruining everybody else's game? If the answer is yes to both those, then you'll be a perfect artillery main. Now, with that being said, I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you are trying to learn a thing or two about artillery. Now, the question is, which line should I go down is what I get asked a lot when it comes to playing artillery. You have the US, USSR, the British, the French, and the German lines. Now, for me personally, I am biased to the American line because it's simple. They have big alpha, big stun, big splash. And when I talk about that, we're talking about the shells. So, for example, T92, cream of the crop, top tier, tier 10, SPG. Where you look at their shells, you're looking at, you can do up to 1375 on a penetration. You get 60 millimeters of pen, and the damage radius is 12.4, which is the largest damage radius out of all of the tier 10s, as well as you can stack on to 35 seconds of stun time. Now, with a good crew like what I have and bounty equipment on your tank, I get that down to 39 seconds. If I hit somebody for 35, they have about 4 seconds to get away before I stack on another stun. And that will abuse them, make them use their med kits, and ultimately allow your team to potentially knock out more crew members or just straight up them miss their shots, or the enemy's missing their shots because they got the stun. They aren't reloading fast enough. They're not turning fast enough because stuns do a lot inside the game. Since you don't get real alpha, stacking on the stun is a good way to go for marks of excellence and get that assistance up. Now, that's only the very first splash shells, as I refer to them, or stun shells. Now, big HE shells. We're talking 75 millimeters of pen, up to 1775 damage, as well as damage radius gets cut down to 7. So this is one that you have to be a lot more accurate in. Playing in American artillery, I do not recommend using a whole lot of these because your dispersion is 0.71 at 100 meters. You're playing artillery, all right? You have to understand you are not shooting at 100 meters. You're not seeing that 0.71. You're going to be shooting 300, 400, 500, 600 meters away. You're going to be significantly worse accuracy. So using these, situational. But they do hit really hard and really nice, especially when you play on a smaller map like mines. These shells are a godsend. DPM, obviously you're not going to be a huge DPM machine when you're playing artillery. So keep your expectations low when you play this. Any already, like, you will have those one-off games. I've had the one-off games where I'm doing over 5,000 damage in our artillery. Those are far and few between. So keep your expectations low. Understand you're in a support role. Your job is to look at the battlefield and determine who I need to target, who needs help. That way we can win the battle. Because your whole goal should be just to win, not to really go for the biggest damage number. If you want something like that, you're going to pull out something insane like a 60 TP, or if you're derpalicious like I am, FV4005, those things are a lot of fun to roll around in and get those big damage. Now, that's a quick synopsis of the artillery in itself, or SPG. Shell arcs is a huge thing that you got to pay attention to. American is a very flat flying shell arc versus something like the British and the French have a little bit more shell arc to them. Germans kind of in between. USSR is also very flat flying because they shoot relatively fast on the shell velocity, so you need distance. Distance is going to be key. You're going to learn how to master that whenever you're playing certain tanks. Now, with that being said, I'm going to demonstrate what the American Tier 10 looks like and kind of show you some bush locations, where to shoot, and how to support your team, and biggest thing, paying attention to your minimap. As I'm getting ready to demonstrate all of that, let's go ahead and hop into a battle. Alright, so we spawned in on Sand River. Right now, I'm going to take a quick glimpse at the enemy team, see what they have on their team versus what we have on my team. 2 Arty, so I'm going to have to be cautious of counter battery or artillery shooting back at me. If there's 2 or 3 in a game, you may or may not wind up getting shot by the other team's artillery. As well as looking at the rest of them, they have a lot of armor between the Badger, Minotauro, E3, and Yakpan's E100. Those are some pretty thick boys that we're going to have to deal with. Versus, we have a FE405, Badger, 268, E4. They have significantly less armor, minus the Badger. When we're looking at the heavies, they have an IS-7, which means they're probably going to have someone that's going to absolutely bum rush us at some point, or not us, but an entire flank. As I can pay attention, I'm going to sit right here on this little hill. Gives me a nice little shot into the town area, and this M60 is absolutely about to get dunked on here. So you can notice I switched from one mode to the other, because in reality, sometimes aiming like this in your G mode sniper view, it's a little bit harder to gauge where the hill is. So if you go ahead and zoom out and use this top-down view, it'll actually allow you to show where your best chance is to actually hit a vehicle. Like you see right here, I can't shoot the Badger unless I drag it back just a little bit, because the hill is perfectly in the way. So you can see how difficult of a shot that's going to be on them. So there's no real point in trying to shoot at them. There's the IS-7 that I said it was going to go rushing a flank. That's exactly what we want to see as well. That T100 LT is probably going to make a grave mistake. Now I really want to slap this IS-7, which I think I'm going to right now. Unfortunately, I hit my teammate, or I didn't hit my teammate, never mind. This is going to be a very rough match, it looks like, for me. Their team is extremely passive in a sense. It's normal. We'd see some heavies down here, but it doesn't look like we have anybody that actually went that side. As well as the north is going to be falling pretty quickly, it looks like. Well, 60 TP, we found him. Minotauro, sent action. These are going to be beautiful targets for me. I just gotta prioritize who I want. So with the Minnow tracked out there in the open, I kind of want to slap him a little bit.
That was close.
Well, this is not looking too good. This is the ugly head of artillery play at its finest. Not being able to reload fast enough or hit targets that you want to hit. I see that the south is also falling, but we have enough guns over there. We got a Badger camping on a hilltop, FE405, that's also doing something. Not exactly sure what, but they're doing something up there. So now I'm just going to actually wait for these guys to kind of try to make pressure on this E4. Because the second that they do that, this IS-7 is going to cause problems. For sure. So he's going to try to flank our guy. So the question is, who's going to want to peek this first? IS-7? Yeah, he's going to just... Our team is not really playing well together, and it's kind of going to frustrate us. So unfortunately, this guy's probably going to wind up dying. But the best I could do is throw a shell right here, kill one, and track the other guy. Try to make it to where it's a little bit more manageable for my team. That's what we're really going after. And I've noticed now that we've also lost the midsection. Looks like my team is... We're holding on to our HP, but we're also losing every flank possible. So now I'm just really on focusing on trying to get rid of as many guns as possible. Like this E3, he's going to be a sweet victim of mine. He's probably thinking his armor is really good, and his armor is good. But with a 240mm shell, I can easily handle him if he just gives me a opportunity to take a shot on him. Now, looks like the Minotauro's also going to give up his side, which is honestly beautiful. I see the Badger came back to the mid. E3 still not giving me a shot, but Badger's giving me a beautiful shot. Now remember how I said it was selective on which shells? Now this is going to be a stun shell, but I'm going to immediately switch over to my other shell to get some big damage on these mediums that are trying to make pressure. Because one good penetration off these will wind up killing them all. Well, not all, but I can one-shot them. Doesn't look like it's going to matter. Looks like my team's actually going to rally here after being pushed into the corner, which is absolutely beautiful for us. Now, I just need this Minotauro to pop back up over here. This Minnow shows himself, or that 60 TP broadside, I'm going to absolutely schwack them. And a lot of people will also say when you're playing artillery that you should be shooting and moving. I think that's dependent. As you can see right now, I have not been counter batteried once. The enemy artillery's not focused on me at all. So there's no real reason for me to try to counter. That's an unlucky shell. Well, it is what it is. We take it where we can get it. So we just have to just wait on the reload. Hopefully we'll get another chance at the side of the Badger with one of these big shells, and hopefully say sayonara and send him back to the garage. Now this is probably not going to be the best outing possible for me to show you how to play this, because this Sand River, you really sit in one spot. I saw the artillery tracer, but I really don't want to go for that. Yak Panzer E100. Now that's a beautiful tank to see. Because now all I need is for him to try to crest. Oh. Yeah. I was really hoping to get a little bit more out of that. But, you know, it's A-okay whenever you have something like that happen. Now this poor guy is absolutely going to get farmed by my team now. The Badger has no chance. He's got his booty, and he went ahead and shot his drive wheel out. So now the Badger's done for. So I'm going to go back to this Yak Panzer. He's going to try to make a run for it, which we're going to say, no sir. And this is why we like the American artillery. Just being able to actually deal that significant amount of damage on those shots. They make everyone else hate you, but we absolutely love it. Okay, so right there, we saw the tracer coming from the Arty. Now we're just going to focus on potentially getting him out. I'm a little bit worried about my team. Potentially actually getting there before I reload, but we're going to take an assumption that he's going to be sitting right about here, and we're just going to fire a shell, and hopefully we get that blind fire. Okay, so there's the other T-92. I could have probably saved it. Yeah, I was right on the money, as you can see. Big thing when you're looking for these in-game fights is to watch for those tracers, because you'll see enemy already shoot, and you just follow that white smoke back, and you kind of just guess where they're at. I was thinking he was going to be a little bit further behind that bush, but he decided he did not want to be. So now we're just waiting on the 60 TP and Minotauro to show up. Looks like our team is just going to sit at their base. And as you can see too, I haven't really talked too much about it. The big thing that you want to pay attention to is swapping sides of the map. You don't want to just potentially focus one side and one side only, as well as understanding. I've done a really terrible job about highlighting it, but you can notice at the top of my screen where it says HE, underneath that number, your numerical number, is your travel time for your shells. So I now understand the 60 TP, and where I'm aiming is going to be 3.2 seconds. So in reality, wherever he's going to be at, I have to predict 3 seconds ahead of where that is to make sure I get the shot on him. So like, I really want to get this Minotauro stunned. Actually, let's switch back to the 60 TP. Now that might be enough. Nope. Looks like the 60 TP was able to go get him. And now we're just going to sit here and we're just going to farm away. We only got 2,400 on the scoreboard right now. We'll get a little more by the end of this. Now, as you see, I do have one AP shell. I saved that for the oh shit shotgun blast at the end when my team has completely given up a flank and I'm about to get ran up on. I want to go ahead and potentially use that to get a massive damage number before I don't like. English is hard for me sometimes, guys. I use AP to shotgun or point blank somebody that's running up on me, and I want to dump out as much damage as possible and guarantee a penetration. So as you can see right here, end of the battle, we only did 3,080 damage, killed one tank. Didn't really get too much assistance because I was more focused on causing real damage there towards the end because a lot of my stun shells just weren't doing what I need them to do. So switched up AP. We came in third on team for the damage, which is always a feel-good moment. But we love our T92s because they actually can dump out that damage. As you can see, a couple shots in, already just clicking away. So that's battle number 1 on Sand River. We're going to go ahead and play another battle. I'm going to do 2 more. I'm going to do 3 games per tank. As this tank series grows, I'm going to highlight all artillery. I'm just doing a T92 for general synopsis of how to play artillery, where to look for, and hopefully you guys will take something away from this. But let's go ahead and hop into battle number 2. Game number 2, Erlenberg. So this is also a map that's kind of be a love-hate for artillery, depending on which side you decide you want to go assist with and do the damage to. This map could be beautiful, but at the same time, there are chances that you don't get a whole lot of damage because a lot of the HP is going to be within the city over here, and sometimes it is a pain to get your shots off over there. I'm immediately going to start heading, and it's a good decision too, paying attention to your mini-map. I am headed this way. As you can see, we have no tanks headed to that eastern flank, so I'm immediately going to be going deep into this area and really digging myself in with my team and trying to get shots into the town. I see the IS-7, T-95, and everybody like that's right there. So I'm going to park my tank for a second. We're going to get a full aim shot on this Tiger Mouse or T-95 potentially. Looks like T-95's going to sit right about there. We're just going to go ahead and lob that shell. Now, it didn't look like I hit him. No, I only stunned him. But I really want to make sure I'm shooting and moving as fast as possible into this location. Because last thing I want to have happen is me get caught out in the open and have a very early game. So it's rather unfortunate that I didn't get a chance to hit him, but looks like I will have plenty of opportunities as these guys are trying to play in this very awkward position for them, which I'm okay with. As you see, our other Arty is putting in that damage as well. So looks like between me and what is it, our 212A, which is a very good tank if you were to ask me about my opinion on it, we should be able to just absolutely shred this T-95 and Tiger Mouse, because T-95's thinking, oh, I'm pretty safe right here. He has absolutely no idea what's coming for him, because between me and this 212, we will probably absolutely destroy this guy. And you can see the 212's got a nice little healthy shot on him. Mine, unfortunately, T-95 does have a lot of armor, He did manage to survive. It would probably been a smarter shot on the Tiger Mouse, but this is where you kind of get to select what you want to do. I'm kind of regretting that decision because now he's getting absolutely bullied by these two, the Tiger Mouse and the E100. So I'm just going to try to potentially use my teammate as a little meat shield, and I'm going to probably shoot him directly because that's going to splash all of them. Now, typically I would not recommend you shooting your teammates. You probably shouldn't do that. But we're trying to stack that stun on and get as much damage into these guys as possible. And as you can see, it's going to work out. Tiger Mouse is still reloading. He's still waiting to get his chance to actually shoot. And because of that close fire, it probably potentially saved his life. Granted, my teammates came over to back him up, which was a good call on their part. I'm still going to try to focus on this T95 because he's kind of giving up the his butt of his tank. But it looks like I'm not going to focus on that anymore. It looks like this 430 wants to dance. And if this 430 wants to dance, I'm going to let him. So I'm just actually going to try to splash him as much as possible. There you go. Once again, stacking on that stun, allowing my team to get as much damage as possible. Now I see a patent tank, which is a very nice target as well. E100 is currently being jumped by everybody else. He has no backup. So unfortunately, I think our E100 is going to be done for before I get another shot off. 212's coming in with that beautiful dunk on him. This is one of those moments where you and your teammate or your other Arty brethren are actually in sync really well and can do a lot of damage really fast. So you can see he's trying to come across and it's not working out too well for him. We're going to stack on that stun. Now he can't have that view range. It's just beautiful, stunning as much as possible. My game is not looking too hot, but that's expectations. I'm never expecting to have a whole lot of damage when I play artillery. There's no reason to. I think if you're trying to be a big damage dealer, you need to play something else. And ultimately, all I'm trying to do is get us that win. Charred Future 4 is a nice little tasty treat. He thinks that he could probably just push out here, which he can. He's going to get away with that. T95, though, wide open. This is money shot right here. Right there. 417 on the fucking dome. Now we just need to wait for my team to potentially go over there and flank him. That's what we really want to see. The Patton's kind of making pressure. He's in a position to where I can't really hit him, but I can't hit that E. I was hoping that E100 was a little bit more exposed than that, but it doesn't look like he is. Now, this is going to be an interesting play. T95's right there. Now, this is one of those moments where I wish I would have went for a top-down view because it made it probably a little bit easier to gauge where I was going to hit on that building. But, you know, sometimes you just got to deal with it. Now, luckily, this T95 should be dead. All someone's got to do is really just shoot HE at him at this point, and he's done for. Which, that someone's going to be me because I'm actually going to aim for this building. Fun fact, little pro tip for Arty players out there. You can use buildings as a backboard, and you can kill them by doing this. I actually think I might have hit him directly on that one. I think my shell landed just in front. But you can actually use buildings as backboards. So this is actually one of my longer games I've had in World of Tanks recently. And I'm actually running out of shells, which is kind of going to become an issue. So now we're just kind of waiting to see where this Char Future pops up at, because that's ultimately the one that we want to see. There we go. Beautiful.
That was close.
Alright, not a lot of damage. We fell a little short on that shell. But we made him use his med kit, so that's always a plus. There's an EBR right there. He's going to be the problem child. He's extremely fast. Alright, so now we're going to look for that counter battery, since really all that's left is 2 Artys, an EBR, the rum, and an E100. So really I'm just going to look for their Arty. I'm going to actually ask my team to see if either one of them can tell where their Arty's at. And hopefully someone will be reading the game chat. A lot of times if you're struggling a little bit, I guess, you should be asking, well, not struggling, but if you're not sure, you should ask people where some of their tanks are at, because it will make your life a little bit easier. Because potentially they could ping, but nobody is apparently reading their game chat, so I'm kind of stuck just... Okay, so we saw that one fire, so he's over here in this direction. Yep. Nice. Oh, I missed it. I couldn't quite see it because these trees are right in the way. So that was 2 fires. That means it's going to be the bat chat 558 or the 15558 because it has a magazine. So there should be one more shell. Unless they're both over there. We're just going to have to wait this one out. This is going to be a long match. Okay, so I'm going to guess he's somewhere right about there. I couldn't quite tell. The tracers weren't that good. So I'm going to relay to my team that the 1558 is in their cap. The Char Future's just reiterating that they're both over there. So now the question is, where do you think this E100 went? With me running low on shells, I don't want to blind fire too much. Okay, so EBR is currently taking care of our 705A. Leopard PTA was absolutely no assistance to him. And unfortunately, I just barely missed him, but you can see right there I did take a chunk off of him, which is always really nice, because that EBR is probably going to be the most dangerous tank they have left. Nice. Okay, so we actually wound up winning that. Now, hopefully these guys will make the final push. This is a very, very long game. And I don't really have too much to show for it right now. All I can hope is that these guys do something before the EBR rushes Arty. Because I'm not putting faith into my Leopard PTA that's over here. I like how currently they're talking about camp metas and stuff like that. I don't know what they're talking about. December World of Tanks is 5-minute matches. If you're lucky, you see a 7-minute match. That's not camping when you're only using a third of your time. But luckily for me, these drawn-out games make it a little bit easier for me to potentially get big damage numbers. So we're just going to send up a prayer right about there. Now, unfortunately, this is where things are going to get real dicey real quick. Because now it's just me. If anything, I can just try to help these guys out against this E100 one last time. Get one shot into them. Send up a prayer. And unfortunately, that's not good enough, so. And we're just going to go down swinging. Hopefully our team will be able to pull it out. I don't think they're going to. There's the EBR coming in. Well, you never like it. We were looking pretty good, and then it just kind of fell apart relatively quickly. So the rest of my team's probably going to die to their Arty. Yeah, there it is. That's going to be the game. Alright, well, I'll bring you guys back when the match is over. I guess it doesn't matter. We just watched them die right there. I was going to say, I don't know why I'm looking at this way. I'm used to Twitch chat being right there. But hey, we're going to at least see what this match looks like. See how I actually did, all in all. So we only got 2,400 out of this, 94 damage, or assistance. Number 4 on the team when it comes to damage. Nothing much more I can do to say I can carry, because ultimately there's just a lot of dead weight down here at the bottom. Char Future 4 didn't really do much. Our EBR, our Sheridan, both those tanks could do damage. I know they're light tanks, but it's a Sheridan. It's not really a light tank. It's pretty much putting makeup on a pig and calling it a medium. That's what it is. Let's go ahead and hop into the next battle. We got insta-queued. Looks like we're going to be on Muravanka. So this is actually an opportunity for me to show off the real damage potential of this tank. This might be a beautiful match right now. Alright, so potentially, well, there's multiple ways to play this map when it comes to artillery. You can either go to the west side over in like A0 on this northern spawn, or my favorite is to go A1 and really bully the heavy line as hard as possible. Once again, looking at the enemy team, I see an IS-7. IS-7 is probably going to go play Forest. They got a... That's really about it that I'm going to see that's going to want to push that side. Foch, maybe. Ho Reed's going to go that way. STRVs are going that way. But it looks like the rest of the heavies are potentially going to come over here. And looks like our M5Y decided that it was going to be his very first match in that tank. And our FE405 says good luck. See, that's sportsmanship. That's what we need. Cranvon actually went that way. Interesting. So this is actually going to look really good for our heavy line push. Looks like our super conks are just going to yeet right in there, which is a-okay. The IS-7 actually did not go that way, which is kind of surprising. So I'm just going to focus on this Kampfpanzer right here. Never liked it. We're going to try to hit that angle as much as possible, but the issue is going to be my team pushing them too far around that corner to where it makes it a little bit more difficult for me to actually get shots on them. I know they want to push the tempo, but when they're back here, it's a lot more difficult for me to hit. Now, normally heavies would like to play in this position, but since my team is pushing them pretty far back, not much I can do there. This T-57 Heavy's making a grave mistake of hanging out in the open a little too long. So we're going to go ahead and take 467 of his hit points away from him, because I think they look a lot better in my stats than on his health bar. Now, IS-7 is also going to be making a very big mistake by trying to play at a distance and giving me that nice open field to shoot at. Now, IS-7 is going to try to reinforce over here, it looks like. I would love to be able to get a chance to slow him down, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. STRV is also a beautiful tank I love seeing. Absolutely will overmatch his armor. But it looks like he's going to back away, so we're going to take a chancy shot on the IS-7. Looks like our other flank is still holding pretty well. T-57 wants to come back for more. He thinks that he could use his dead friend as a meat shield. So I'm going to wind up using that information, because I know he's going to hold down right there. Now it's just a question on which side he wants to be on. And like I said, this is December, 5-minute matches. We're already down to a third of the enemy hit points left. And it's about to be over in, yeah, I'm going to call it right about 5 minutes. Now, it's rather unfortunate my shell does fly right over, but nothing I can do about that. Ho Ree's kind of sitting out in the open, which is going to be beautiful if I can even get a chance to reload. I think this 22 seconds I have left is going to be a little too much time for it to really matter. Ho Ree's actually going to be left alive. Interesting. I might be able to get a nice pen shot on this STRV. Just 6 more seconds. It's not even worth it now. Ho Ree's back over here. So he's going to try to put it in reverse, but he's tracked. I fire, and we hit a dead tank. Unfortunate, but that's just the way the game goes. Sometimes you're going to have those long games where you play artillery and you can get a lot of damage, or you could have these fast 4 minutes and 15-second games where you're at the mercy of your reload. So hopefully you guys saw some stuff. If you have any questions or comments, feel like I overlooked something, I'm going to go more in detail by starting at tier 5 artillery and moving up. I'm going to have an entire guideline for each one of those tanks. So if you guys feel like I did miss something, put that comment down below. If you guys haven't subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. It helps me out, and it's just a click for you guys, as well as hit that like. And if you guys get the chance, you can always find me on Twitch. I do stream over there 5 days a week. Come check it out live while I'm playing in-game. That way, maybe you might see something more than a whopping 800 damage in a 4 minute and 15 match. 4 minutes, 15 seconds match. But nonetheless, I'm going to give you guys the farewell I always give to my Twitch chat. I am the Mangy Mutt. I'm signing out for the day. See y'all later.